Hi-ho friends, and welcome back to the Snug Bungalow, where we are going to look through a bag of my thrift store finds. But before we do, we're going to take a look at some of the stuff that has sold recently. It's going to be things, hopefully, that you have seen on previous videos. So you know these things are coming in, being processed, and then going out again. Keeping it real, letting you know exactly how much money I got for these items, so that you can see if it might be something that you would want to sell, or maybe something that you would want to buy. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we will get to my big bag of thrift store finds. We'll be right back. Up first is this gorgeous green hat that I found. It had that great band and tassel, and it had a metal medallion on the side. Just gorgeous, and it brought $25. This is that lot of American Girl doll clothes that I showed you. Upon further inspection, a lot of them had wear and stains, so it did not bring as much as I was hoping, but I still got $20 for it. This is a Lisa Frank vintage autographs book. It's just plain pages inside, and I believe that the design is called Hollywood Bear, and it brought $30. These were two metal Easter eggs that were vintage. It opens up, they're like boxes. And for both of them, I got $11.70. This was that Annalie Christmas elf. I think I showed this in a video. He was bendy. There were tons of them listed, but he brought $10. And I also got $10 for this plastic Pinocchio doll. And we are back. Now, let's get to the good stuff. We're going to look through a bag of thrift store finds. I found this stuff at the Goodwill bins or the Goodwill outlet. Everything is priced by weight. Usually it is textiles, linens, and clothing. And then hard goods, household stuff, toys are a different price. And everything is done by weight. And it comes out to very, very cheap. Okay. The first thing that I want to show you is that I found another cachet of vintage Christmas. And maybe you know by now that I love Christmas, and especially vintage Christmas. And I have a very large collection, which you can actually see on a previous video, one of the rooms in my house and the decorations that I have there, and most of them are vintage. So when I come to a bin that is full of vintage Christmas stuff, I basically have a meltdown. I'm like breathing like a crazy person, talking to myself like a crazy person, and just like everything else in life melts away, and it's just me in the vintage Christmas. I actually got a lot more than this, but I haven't dug it out of my bags yet. So this was the first stuff that I came to that I found that I wanted to show you. So I thought that I would throw it in this video. These guys are so crazy. Wait till you see these. Googly eye snowmen that are the sequins, you know. Usually these were like kits and like handmade kind of stuff. These are all straight pins, like sewing pins, and then they have sequins and beads, and their hats are made of felt and stuff, and they're just completely obnoxious and amazing. And I don't think I'm going to be keeping any of the stuff that I'm going to show you vintage Christmas wise right now. So all of this will be in my shops in a couple of weeks. Next we have Santa. I love how like chubby he is. It's so great. This was owned by Carmen in 1995. And as a partner to Santa, we have Snowman. Snowman was owned by Danielle. But like, that's fun. These are actually kind of heavy, so if you were going to use these as a Christmas ornament, you would need to have like a really strong branch. Oh, look at this. a vintage little stocking, and it's like transparent. How cute. How, like, you could just fill it up with like the cutest little treasures and hang it on your wall. Love it. This guy, obviously made during the 60s. You know what I say. If it looks like drugs were involved, it was probably made during the 60s. We got googly eye action again. Plastic, flocked. I've been mentioning that I actually collect mice ornaments. This is not one that will stay in my collection. He's just a like one step too over the top for me. But I do have some friends that I will pair him with and then put him up for sale. And I thought this was just really beautiful, actually, like really pretty. This is a wooden rocking horse, and the tail and the mane are yarn. You'll have to excuse my manicure. It's like halfway done, halfway falling off. But I just thought, you know, I really liked the colors and stuff. I could like sense a theme, you know, that someone might have for their holiday, you know, who might enjoy putting that on a bookshelf or next to a mini tabletop tree or something. But I just had to share those with you guys because I freak right out when I run into Christmas stuff at the bins. Vintage Christmas. Speaking of vintage, I also found this at the bins. A beautiful vintage cake topper. I recently sold a larger one of these that's maybe like one step larger for about $30. I actually sold it to somebody, I think, in the UK. So it went for a little journey across the pond. But I love finding these. They're just so beautiful. Okay, the next thing is not something I've ever sold before. I've heard of this. I know people like it. I didn't really know that there was a reselling market for it. Recently, somebody mentioned it on a video that I was watching, and I was like, all right, well, I'll like try to keep a lookout. And then I found a couple with the original tags at the bins, and they are Squishmallows. Now, if you've never felt one of these before, I want to encourage you to do that, because this is like a cloud and a marshmallow and a hug and pixie dust all wrapped up into one. The feeling of this is so good. I can see why people like them. Look at this. He's got a little bomb pop, and they all have names. This guy is Limell, Limell, Limell. He was I think this is Walgreens exclusive. Is that Walgreens logo? But he, I think, was probably like a summer line. Just says original Squishmallows. They all have a number. That's like in depth. So I got that one. There were like a lot of them. And I assume that most of them had their original tags because the two that I just happened to pick up had their tags. I didn't want to overdo it because I had never sold them before. They are not super small, so they'll take up space in storage, and then if they don't sell for a while, you know, I didn't want to have like 13 Squishmallows. But after looking them up and everything, I would definitely get more. This is Roman, and he is the Earth, and he is wearing a tiny little hat that says Earth Day. How cute is he? And here's his little tag. Roman, the Earth. Super cute. Really good for a squish. Love it, love it. Okay. Here's another plush. Let me see if it has a tag real quick. Ooh, it does. This is made by Mattel for Disney. It does not have a year on it, but I think it's from the 90s. And this is a Minnie Mouse, like, blankie plush. and I looked her up. I can't remember at this point exactly how much, but it was much more than I thought. So hopefully I will get a nice penny from Miss Minnie, the Blankie plush. Sometimes, like, 90s plush are worth some money. Like, obviously not every single one, but if you see something, if you're familiar with the 90s from having lived through them, or, you know, maybe you just collect them, if you're just out and you see plush that reminds you of a plush that you had in the 90s, it's worth looking up because there are quite a few that are worth hundreds of dollars, and there are plenty that are worth, you know, from the $20 to the $80 range as well. So I encourage you to look for 90s plush. So this is a paper mache cat. I assume it is a Halloween craft item. I have sold many of the like reindeer paper mache type of statues. Sometimes they're painted or embellished by people, but I think that they were mostly sold plain. I know that my grandmother had several of them, and that is how I know, you know, that they're from the 80s, 90s time period. I've never seen one of these before, so I don't know if this is new or old. Old or new, old or new. I don't know. So I'm just gonna see what happens. I didn't really see a lot of other ones, so there weren't really a lot of comps for me to go on, but I'm gonna give it a shot since it's like something else that I have sold in the past, and I think it's cute, and it's hard to find Halloween stuff. And you know that I do all holidays all of the time. So I just went with my gut on that one. Okay, now guys, here's the thing that I've said I hate doing. But once in a while, I find a piece of clothing that I do want to sell because I think that it's neat or interesting or vintage. Not generally any dresses. That's just way too much fabric for me to try to look over. But this is a vintage shirt, and it's just so colorful and so fun. It's short-sleeved. It's like a silky material, satiny material, I guess. Shiny. And just the colors are just so great. It's like very vibrant watercolor. Let's see if it has like our little vintage tag. Yes, notations. It is a size 12. And shirts aren't bad. If you don't like selling clothing like I don't, shirts aren't too painful. Sometimes you can just hang them on a hanger, stick it on the wall, take a couple pictures. And then you have to measure it, of course, because everyone wants measurements. I got this one also. I honestly don't know if this is vintage or not. This is a linen shirt, 100% linen. It's short-sleeved again, has stripes. The back is a little longer than the front. And this is from C&C, California. I don't know if it's old or new. I probably will look into that while I list it. This is a US size medium. And I actually might try this one on first. It's just very fun. I love the feel of linen, especially in the summer times in Virginia because it's hot here. So I may try that one on myself, see how that goes. So here is a fun piece. I always keep my eye out for like nautical or beach decor because it tends to sell pretty well. I also tend to look for hardware like drawer pulls or light switch covers, and those sell really well. And so this is a plastic light switch cover that is a underwater scene. And I thought that was fun and obnoxious, and somebody would definitely want that. So pick that up. Okay. So this next thing is something that I have not sold in the past, but there are a million of them at my bins. So I could pick up, I don't know, anywhere from 5 to 10 sets of this each time I go. I have no idea if these sell well or not, but they are shower curtain hooks. So they're the thing that holds your shower curtain onto the rod, and this is a set of resin. I'm assuming that these are from the 90s, but there are just an enormous amount of these, and most of them are like novelty ones like this, like they have fish, or I saw one that I regret not getting that was a set of Bratz ones, and I think that they were like lips or something obnoxious, but I figured it was time to give it a try. I think if you have a full set, it's 12, and I do have a full set of these. So I'm gonna try this, see what happens. I probably will get another couple next time I see some, because I thought, you know, when something is just really plentiful like that, you're like, I wonder if I could sell that, or at least I do. I kind of think that about almost anything I come in contact with. I wonder if I could sell that. But also, I think that they're kind of fun, you know? They're all like very themed. I'm not sure if that's how people do their bathrooms now, or if it's the theming has kind of come down, or, you know, maybe people want to try to use them for curtains, or I don't know what, but I don't know. I hope that they sell, because I can get like an unending supply of those, and they're fun. So this is a little Asian doll. I believe these are called kokeshi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but they are usually carved dolls. Sometimes I find them in pairs, but it's been a while since I found one. And this one is wrapped in an adorable fabric. And she has a little bow on the front. She's got her little hair doodad. And I thought she was just adorable. It's been a while since I sold one of these, so I'm not exactly sure how much I can get for just like a single one, but I thought she was worth saving, because I believe that the next step after the bins, like a lot of this stuff was at regular Goodwill stores. After it's lived its life at the Goodwill store, after a certain number of weeks or months or whatever, it gets put in the Goodwill bins, and then, you know, that's like the ultimate deep discount clearance. And then I think the next step, if it doesn't sell in the bins, is the garbage, is the dump. So basically anything that I find that just looks beautiful or seems worth saving, even if I can't get, you know, like a ton of money for it, sometimes I can't leave it in there just in case no one else picks it up. But I know that I will be able to sell her. She's beautiful. Okay, I think that is the end of the video for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you would, you can like this video with a thumbs up, you can subscribe to my channel, and you can hit the bell to get notified when I put out a video next. I'm going to put some links down below. They are to my shops, and they will be to items that are sort of similar to this in case you want to shop right away. If you are interested in any of these particular items, they will be for sale in about 2 weeks. That's the processing time that it takes me generally to get all of this stuff processed and listed, and then I will change the links to the actual items from the video that you've seen. I think that's everything that I wanted to say to you today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. It is a gloomy day here in Richmond, Virginia, and it's just nice to be able to spend a little bit of time with you today. And until next time, I invite you to go out and find treasure.